Hi, this is Off to Battle, and this is a reaction video of sorts to the Total War Warhammer 3 Hotfix 6.3.1 beta. So what I'm trying to do with this is just go over a bunch of things that they've been talking about because these are important and I have reactions to them. So, for the highlights, when they say 2 new front-end toggles for unusual locations as well as balance changes and bug fixes, you'll see what we're talking about. Actually, let's go straight into the details. Unusual locations, we want to acknowledge the feedback we've seen from players that would like the unusual locations to spawn for the AA factions as well as the player. There are a number of design reasons we haven't done. Have you people even looked at some of this? There's one that literally says it has a very small chance of destroying an entire faction when you take over a settlement. AI hands would completely destroy the game. Do I have to have Deathmaster take out some contracts with you guys? Like, I don't want to, but, you know, that triggered me a little bit. They're exploring adding it as a toggleable option in the future, but come on, guys. I mean, some of these unusual locations, they're obviously lying to you because there's Zinch stuff, but, you know, whatever to the extent that is true, come on. Some things are not to be trusted in AI hands, just generally and here specifically. Now, added front-end customization options to disable the purple hand and unstable chaos portal. I've had experiences with those two, quite a few, in my attempts to do Hotep campaigns to learn that how his campaign is going specifically and how Modern Tomb Kings is running and so on and so forth. And he seems to be a magnet for these two unusual locations, especially the chaos portal. Slightly increase the earliest turn at which some of the more impactful unusual locations can spawn. Faulty Doom Sphere, I've had that one once, and Unstable Chaos Portal. The earliest turn at which, okay, that's interesting. Removed Arcane Synergy from the Purple Hands effects and increase the rate at which their safe houses spread. Yeah, that's interesting. Convert the Purple Hand spreading event into a dilemma so the player doesn't miss it. Fixed an issue where the Purple Hand's final event wouldn't trigger, leaving the player in the dark as to why they had left. What this event does still did happen in campaigns where they spread to 9 locations. The player just wasn't notified. Yeah, that's what it says. That when it goes to 9 locations, then it departs after it's, you know, done its stuff. Spreading Zinch corruption all over the place. Lowered the number of Hydras in the Underworld Sea entrance to 3 instead of 7. It was 7 as a reference to the Dark Elf Doom Gate, but yes, we've heard your feedback that 7 is a few too many Hydras, even for huge Hydra fans. I want to make a joke about too many heads having been involved, but that wouldn't work well. Lizardmen, we saw there was a need for factions to have some more spawning sequence and at the same time have better capacities, so we've acted on that as below. And I really wanted to focus on this. So, we do have a special here for Tic-Tac-Toe. Now, grants an increased pool cap for Blessed Ripodactyl and Blessed Pterodon Rider units, which are really good. So, +2 as a faction effect. So, right off from turn 1, he gets this. Tablet of Spawning now has a proper increase from spawning sequence gained from commandments. So this is the main fix for the tech tree. Increases the amount of spawning sequence earned by commandments by +50%. And Rite of Awakening is giving you stuff, and there's a commandment that boosts what you get from that rite, but there's also the one commandment for war that you're getting a certain amount per turn. So you would get, if it's going to be 4 per turn, then you would get 6 per turn in that province with this running. And because I had run a Tahinwin campaign for a couple of hours today, this afternoon for me Atlantic time, I had seen this in action. So I was getting the Blessed Spawning Pool Capacity +1 also, so I went from 2 to 3 with Tahinwin. And so it says Oxyal's missions now grant spawning sequence based on their difficulty. The easy missions will be like the example shown below. Also gives spawning sequence from the Unearthed Sanctum and Grand Sanctum buildings. And doubled the amount of spawning sequence you get from performing rites as Nakai and Tahinwin, and have increased the gain from performing the Rite of Awakening. We believe this further improves this system. Give it a go. So, anyway, so you see stuff like this for like spawning sequence +5 per turn here as an effects for 5 turns. Reward for success. So there's a very, very important thing that follows, and this is probably the biggest point in this entire video. Spawning sequence can now be earned from buildings the base Warhammer 2 Lizardmen and FLC free downloadable content. Factions get spawning sequence from the Geomantic building chain. Because the DLC factions can obtain this from their faction feature, we think this is a fair restriction. What this implies, and it's true from what you'll see here, this is the Mathhammer version of the Geomantic Spire. 25 per turn here. 25 per turn. So that's very important. So that's what he can get in a province from the building. This is the Tehenwin version. It doesn't have that, because Tehenwin can just sacrifice your enemies, and that's a very fun way to do it. Now, because I just wrapped up a Tehenwin campaign that I was just doing for a couple of hours, the Tier 1 sacrifices, you get 40 spawning sequence per sacrifice, and you can just repeat these infinitely if you have enough sacrifices. Tier 2 will give 60, Tier 3 will give 80. So other than that, it's commandments, it's the Rite of Awakening, and it would be from any missions that you get. That's how you build sequence with the Tehenwin. So for Oxyotl, current iteration 6.3.1 is incorrect, because this is not what it should be showing. It should be showing this, and they'll have it completely fixed for 7.0. Somehow they couldn't do it for now. For some reason. So they say, while Blessed units are not made to replace the base Lizardmen roster you have at your disposal, they are definitely made to empower and support you, and we believe these changes go a long way in aiding that. You could also say they're to survive Skulltaker, but yeah. Alright, let's go to the Tomb Kings. For Tomb Kings, dedication to Asaph now correctly applies, though the values have been slightly reduced. Okay. The increase of Canopic Jars from the skill Canopic Jar Hoarder has been reduced, so they scale more in line with expectations. Well, the bottom line is that I've covered this for various heroes. I was going to cover it for Lords as well, but the point is, you don't need that skill with the amount of jars that you're getting from battle. You want it, certainly. I mean, but you're getting so many jars as a result of getting that skill plus other mechanics that it does seem like it is a bit too much. And it's okay. It's absolutely okay. They overshot it a little bit in the course of correcting it. I don't mind. Also, occupying settlements now grants Canopic Jars. Since the previous occupants didn't know what to do with them, they're better in your hands. Okay, we'll go with that. The Rite of Tahoth Casket of Souls ritual now costs 2,500 gold instead of 5,000. This is a big deal. That's cost 5,000 since faction launch. So, in a faction with criminally low amounts of money, to have this be 5,000 and something, desperately needed within your first 10 turns. Here's another thing. Even if they hadn't changed what they did for the Unstable Chaos Portal, just not having that gold being needed for the Casket of Souls might have saved entire campaigns from that portal and its propensity to destroy your own settlements in a way that, as Tomb Kings, you don't really benefit from. But that's just a faction thing interacting with this new mechanic. The percentage increase in cost for increasing army capacity has been raised from 50% to 75%. Okay. Because I know that as Katep, with his reduction to what you could do with the call to pay for that stuff, you could get quite a few armies if you're hitting like turns 60 to 70. It's fair because you're not as punished. Something about that, about the research, but getting more armies through research is not unfair as long as you've got the option of getting that first army that's extra. It's very critical. If you're actually an active player and you're taking territory, you're going to need the help. We believe this change will improve gameplay despite being an increase in cost. I don't think that's unfair, but that's as a result of a lot of personal experience, having done the Katep campaign, just to flesh out how things are in the current situation. Wisdom of the 4th and 6th Dynasty technologies now provide additional effects. and that's because they were saying at the start, and I skipped over it, but they reduced vampiric corruption. I mean, that might have already been in the game if it's the reducing from 10 to 5. So they're giving something back for that. The Tomb King Lord skill Unwavering Resolve now provides Unyielding Assault instead of Immune to Psychology. Yeah, that would be because they don't need Immune to Psychology. Yeah, this is good. And I'm glad that I'm reading this before I'm coming out with my Tomb King Generic Lord video. We have implemented a requested scaling cost to hero capacities below as an image showing this. Okay. This is fair. This is fair. Because I only just did the video on this, so even though you had to fight super hard to get access to all of these resources in a game, once you did, if things were still at just for, everybody except Kata being 2,500 and 250, it was still so low that you could just basically produce infinite amount of heroes because Tomb Kings do not pay unit upkeep. So if your income is 8,000 gold a turn, then you could be pumping out 3 heroes a turn and never look back. And that was a bit too much. And I completely understand this. And between this and the tech tree, I think that will be balanced. That is my personal opinion. I'm absolutely happy and encouraging you to give me yours. Each use of a new servant, oh, that's what they're talking about. So, Proclamation Technologies now cost 250 Canonic Jars. Patronage Technologies now cost 500 Canonic Jars. Okay, because having reduced because they were doing just gold for those as opposed to using Canonic Jars, which was the new standard for all this other stuff. And the gold was very precious. It really stopped you from doing stuff. But yeah, if you're an active player, you're going to be getting a lot of Canonic Jars. The Nehekaran Decree Heed the Will now provides 2,500 gold, so it's more worth the exchange of Canonic Jars. Oh, okay, that's the one that takes 500 jars and gives you 1,500 gold back, which seems really bad. And so now it's more worth the exchange. Okay, that's fair, because if you've got to eliminate an unusual location, which should happen less now, then you might really need that gold. I really want to go over this, but there's no way that I can take the time to do it right now, and I want this to settle so that I can do proper videos on, if not all of them, because I know somebody else has tried that, but maybe one at a time here and there. And we started to address an issue that has been around for a while, but became more widespread recently, that involved units with 0 treasury cost, unit caps or limited recruitment. Yeah, campaign AI stuff. So all I'm really taking from this is that they are on it, and they are going to keep on it until it's fully resolved, and this is good. With 6.3, Sandvale also adds turn speed, so you can apply to large construct units to hide, evade, turn, and pounce. Okay, this stealth war kitty is real, and not just on a particular lord. And that particular lord is good, but I'm just saying Sandvale has a use. We've got a lot here, but I mainly wanted to cover the campaign stuff per se. I encourage everybody who's interested in more. CA put out these patch notes. They are already out as patch notes. So even for those who are just in the beta like me, you can just read all this stuff. And if they tweak more things, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Probably. Maybe. Take care and have fun out there.